Gus Nordstrom
the Trapper
by Bryn
and Greta.
It was over 90 years ago a young man named Gus to this country came to trap the fur up in the north when this country was not so tame.
He took a partner along to help with dogs and supplies to last a year, then headed north with loaded canoes. Just where they would trap was not yet clear.
They pulled and paddled from summer to fall until the leaves turned gold from green, and the ice began forming on the river banks. Then the end of the trail was seen.
It was there that Gus said, "We will leave the canoes and set up our base camp here, another north in the Barrenlands, as there seems to be no trappers near."
In October, when the first snows fell and the camp was made snug and tight, the dogs and sleighs were made ready. They headed north with all their might.
Many days later, with supplies getting low, they came up on a large lake. There was fox and marten tracks everywhere, so plenty of fur for them to take.
Another main camp was built here, with lots of caribou along the shore to supply food for the dogs and for them. They couldn't ask for anything more.
Soon the traps were set and ready. White fox, lynx, and marten were here to take. If all went well as they had planned, by spring they would have a steak.
Their plans did really turn out well. The furs and the cash were piled high. At the first sign of spring and the melting snow, their eyes were kept on the sky.
One day, as the dawn broke bright and clear, the fur was piled high on the sleighs. With many miles ahead and the snow going fast, they would travel by night instead of days.
Now Gus tells a tale of a sad event. We stopped to feed the dogs and have a rest when my partner said he was not feeling well, so to camp for a while would be best.
But he grew worse as the long night passed, and by morning it was clear. No more trapping trails he'd follow as his time was drawing near.
What would the Mounties think? Would they believe my story when told? Here I'm returning with 2 loads of fur, and my partner lying dead and cold.
So high on a knoll above a beautiful lake, where I thought he would like it best, I gathered stones and built a cairn, for it's there forever he will rest.
By night, when the place was all ready, there came a shout from the river below, and 2 Mounties came by, out on patrol. A more welcome sight I'll never know.
They saw it was a sickness that took him and said no blame would be laid on me. So I buried him there in the Northland, for I am sure that it is where he'd rather be.
Between the Topin and Squaw Rapids, Gus then built his log cabin home. This seemed to be a good trapping area, so east and west of there he would roam.
At that time were no roads, so supplies were brought in by canoe, and the only visitors that he did see was an Indian or a fur trader passing through.
4 partners came and went, and many years passed by. Much fur was taken from the trap line, and the prices for fur was low and high.
The steamer Northcott came from down below, and the rapids were swift and fast. All hands had to get out and pull before it could get past.
One fall, when the ice had started to form and the steamer was on its final run, it struck a rock on Tobin Rapids and thought its time had come.
The steamer was unloaded there and pulled high upon the shore. Cabins were built to winter there until spring. It would run no more.
For nearly 60 years, Gus trapped this land until no more on snowshoes he could go. His last dog team was getting old, and he was getting tired of all the snow.
A forest fire came through and took his home. By that time, the settlement was near, so he retired but didn't leave the north. A life in the towns he seemed to fear.
96, he heard the white wolf call, and he was buried where he loved it best. Another trapper had gone with the snows to the place of his eternal rest.